Problem is that you've got coders who've never been on a job site, and that's the
Mm,
problem with a bunch of technology. I've sent my coders to on the job site to work a
yeah,
day doing the work, and then they
yeah.
code better.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Blue Collar Future Podcast. I'm your host, Jaden Robison, and we have James Hatfield from LiveSwitch. He is the CRO of LiveSwitch. Is that correct?
That's right. You got it.
James, it's good to have you. We'll just kind of jump right into it and tell us a little bit about what you do right now.
Well, right now my job is to try to disrupt every blue collar business that's out there. I used to run painting and power washing companies. I know what it is to knock on doors. I know what it is to walk around and do pre-walk around, post-walk around. I've had multiple crews. I've lived a life on a ladder, but now I'm a tech nerd. So we'll get into it. So
hmm
my job every day is to try to make the lives of where I come from, my blue collar family, a little bit easier.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of need for technology, and there's a lot of, and we'll get into this, but there's a lot of pain points people have, and they don't want to adopt new technology either. So there's a lot of people that are kind of far against technology in the trades. Um, let's talk about first how you got into the trades. I think you said you grew up in the trades, and how you became business, and kind of how that brought you to here.
Well, so my father built the house that we lived in. I come from a blue collar background. Grandfather didn't graduate from high school. He was the oldest of about six. And when his dad died, he had to drop out and go get a job at a shop. So we're good with our hands. My grandfather, my father. So I know how to fix engines. I know how to work on homes. I know how to do all that stuff. So the big dream for me was to own a painting company because we know how to do that. So that's what I did. I had crews. I had multiple crews for painting, power washing. I paid the bills. I love doing it. I just had one problem. When I went to the bookkeeper, they would speak English to me, and I'm like, I have no idea what they're saying. Like they would use big words, and I'm like, and I felt like that wasn't good, right? I didn't want to be taken advantage of financially, like because I knew my team would do good work, I would do good work, and it's one
Mhm.
of those things where you become an accidental business owner. I don't know if anyone else listening can relate, but you're like, "Crap, I gotta make payroll, I've gotta do all these things." So, I said, "Hey, look, I probably need to go back to business school while I'm running the company so I can make sure we are solid on our numbers." And so I did that. I went to night school, got all that degree, and then when I graduated, I met a guy who was doing the same thing. He ran a landscaping company, and he built a technology. This was way before AI. That you could take your income statement, your balance sheet from your bookkeeper, and run it through it, and it would tell you in plain language how you're doing. And I was like, "That's the problem I had. I love this." And he's like, "Well, can you sell it?" I'm like, "Well, I can sell painting and power washing. I know how to do that, you know?" And he's like, "All right, maybe if it gets me off the ladder, I'll try it." So I never intended to be in technology, but that worked out. We took that company from nothing to Inc. 500, meaning you're one of the fastest growing companies in the country, in the US here. And then it's a multi-billion dollar company now. So it kind of worked out.
Yeah.
Really worked out actually. But I guess I always thought I'd be in the trades my whole life because I love working with my hands. I love being outside and I love taking care of my community.
Yeah, there's something about being, working with your hands that's super satisfying. I mean, I know that's why a lot of people do it, and I think there's a lot of people kind of gravitating in that direction nowadays because the push to college has been so intense for so long, and it's been unfulfilling to a lot of people. Like people kind of get done with their degrees and realize that they didn't even really want to do what they were studying and all these different things, and then they get into their careers and they're unfulfilled. I mean, it's kind of trades were really downplayed for a very long time.
Yeah, I don't, and it's not even, it's just so false. You know what I mean? Like there's something about waking up early, hopping in a truck, going to get breakfast. I used to have Nextel walkie talkies back in the day, maybe before your time, Jane. You look a little younger. Yeah, I can run my
But
business from that. We get our sausage biscuits. I talk to my team, and I mean, I felt like the man in my truck, have you know, my jobs were going to, and my community was happy with the work I did commercially or residentially, and we put food on the table, took care of so many families, and I don't know, there's a certain joy that comes from being. It's not easy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I had plenty of headaches, but there was a certain joy knowing that, like, I could work with my hands. I could put food on the table for myself, my crew, and nothing more fulfilling than that, really, for me.
Right. Yeah. So you started out in blue collar in a blue collar business. What did those like early years of running your business before you even went to business school teach you about like being in the blue collar industry and running a business? And then like how does that translate into what you've been doing lately? Because you went to tech sales and now you're kind of even in a little bit different space too.
Oh yeah, it changed everything. Everything that I learned in my blue collar business can be used in. I mean, I've worked for some of the largest companies in the country, but when you got to make payroll, when you've got to like, oh, you look in the next week, you're like, we don't have enough jobs. You're like, well, I guess I'm going out this weekend. I'm going to knock on some doors. I'll get us some work. Like, don't worry about it. I'll get us work. Like, and this is before SEO and Google. I mean, this is in the yellow pages where I didn't even have a computer. You know what I mean? It was just hustle. Like, you learned how to hustle. You learned how to take care of people. You knew how to sell. You knew how to deliver. You knew how to handle it when a guy calls out sick because he's not really sick. You're like, "All right, I got you, buddy." So, all of those things translated perfectly into any business I've been a part of, and I've been a part of some of the fastest growing companies in the country that we've grown. So, I attribute almost everything to my blue collar background.
Yeah. What kind of, I mean, all of the stuff translates over. What kind of challenges that you were facing when you were a business owner back then are still relevant today?
Hiring, firing, customer satisfaction, making sure we deliver new technology, new tools. I mean, I remember in our painting business when paint sprayers first came out. Paint sprayers were like a big deal,
Oh, yeah.
and we didn't know what to do with them.
Yeah.
So and we don't read manuals. I mean, if you're like getting a like, just give me the tool, we'll figure it out. So, I buy these paint sprayers, I'm like, "Guys, I've heard good things about this stuff because 'cause we've been rolling and brushing." I'm like, "This is gonna help us finish houses in half the time or businesses." So we get them. The first, like, 5 commercial and residential jobs we got, they were terrible. I mean, it was terrible. By the time we got it down, I was like, "Wow, this" they got a better paint job. I finished in half the time, so my margins were better. And so when new tools, technology came out, you know, for us, it was just about seeing if they were legit because stuff comes out all the time and there's a bunch of trash out there. When the good stuff comes out, man, it makes a real big difference to my top and bottom line.
Right. So you guys, we'll get into kind of what LiveSwitch does, but was there kind of a point in your business where you were realizing how communication and documentation could make or break your business when you were in your painting and power washing businesses?
Yeah, I mean, it's a people business, right? I mean, we work with our hands, we get the job done, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with people, whether it's my team delivering or whether it's the customer paying. So you've got to be good with people, especially when your team screws up or you get to a place where you're like, "Oh, I don't know what to do with this situation," or stuff happens. Guys fall off ladders. We break stuff. We do stuff we don't mean to do, but it happens. So I think um, for us, a lot of it was just making sure we deliver, making sure that at the end of the day, we make it right. I remember we got this paint sprayers. I'd go to Sherwin-Williams and pick up the paint. And sometimes the label, it says exactly the kind of paint. So we, put it in the sprayer, we get up there, and one of my guys, we sprayed an entire house on a cloudy day. And I get to do the final walk around and collect the final paycheck because you get the first paycheck paying up front to pay for the supplies, and then at the end you get the final payment. And so I'm doing the final walk around with the customer, and the sun's shining. I'm like, man, your house is shining like a diamond. Like it is so shiny. Something doesn't seem right. So we go up close, I'm like, "Oh, I knew exactly what happened." The paint company shot gloss in my flat, and the house was literally shining, so I was like, "I need to go back," and we had to repaint the entire house in a flat, and I'm like, "You're not gonna have to paint your house for, like, 10 years, man. It's got so much paint." But I didn't make any money on that. In fact, I lost money on that, but I just wanted to do it right, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
My background, my training, my father, my grandfather, they wouldn't let me leave a job site unless I did it right. So those kind of lessons are the lessons that stick with you even now that I'm running huge companies.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Let's kind of get into what, LiveSwitch does. But actually I do have one more question. What are the biggest communication like breakdowns you see in trade businesses that you talk to? Because I know I've heard you talk to a lot of trades people like on the daily, and especially with promoting your software that you're working on.
Yeah, well, the challenge is the handoff, right? When my sales team is coming on, they're selling, well, or the customer, like, "Oh, your
Yeah.
guy said they would put concrete down for the driveway and the walkway." You're like, "No, we only quoted the driveway." "Well, do the walkway, but you gotta pay a little extra for that." It's the handoff, right? Or when your sales guys try to make that last sale to make ends meet and they're selling world peace, and you're like, "Hey, we don't sell world peace at this company." So when they do sell the job, they're handing it off to the operational team, and you wanna
Mhm.
hand it off in the way that the customer's like, "Hey, I know what we're doing. In this case, we're doing your driveway, we're not doing your walkway. I've got everything down." And then it's about it's about the handoff. It's about
Mhm.
communication. It's about making sure we deliver on what we say we're gonna deliver, and I think that can get lost a lot nowadays between our sales and operational teams.
So, based on your experience, what made you think this is where live switch can really make a difference for people?
I didn't know that at first, actually. Mm. I mean, LiveSwitch, we've done a lot of things that you guys have seen, touched, used. You had no idea it was us. Like we did the Super Bowl the last 3 years. If you go to an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code, they put you on the jumbotron. We did that during COVID, like the NBA bubble when they had fans all in the stands. We did that. We did the All Star game, WWE wrestling.
That's cool.
So I got a knock on the door from the chief of police in Washington D.C. to reinvent our 911 call. You
Mhm.
don't get that every day. And the idea was like, hey, everyone's carrying around 3 to 4 cameras in their pocket on their smartphone. How can we tap into that? So I woke up at 3 in the morning one morning. I was like, I know how to do it. We're going to go in through a text message. So when you call 911, you're compromised, usually as a citizen. You're talking on telephony, meaning you got a phone number and you're talking to someone. So the idea is I can send a text to you, you can tap it, I can get into your cameras, and now you can talk on the phone, but you can also stream your live video to the police car, fire truck, or emergency medical so they can see what they're driving into. And so we did that. And I was like, well, I wonder who else can use this. No app, quickly tap into the camera. You see what I see. And I was talking to this guy who takes care of the Nashville, Tennessee Titans NFL football team. And he's got a huge stadium, 20 years in the FBI. I'm showing him our emergency response stuff. And he's like, James, I got the stupidest question. I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, can I just text my guy across the arena when the trash cans fall over so I don't have to hop in my golf cart and he can just show me because that would help me a lot. And that was the aha. I'm like, oh, this reminds me of those Nextel walkie talkies I had with my business because I loved them. And now it's you see what I see stuff, but it's Nextel walkie talkie, but with your eyes. So that is what kind of got us in back into the trades where we started getting into different industries and we're like, hey, do you need a technology where you can not drive out anymore and see what they see? And I met a guy in the moving industry, like moving boxes, and he's a thought leader in there. And I mean, he leads huge conferences. He's like, James, like, you're sitting on liquid gold. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we'll just use this stuff. Like, typically in a moving company, the most expensive thing I do, and they call it a free estimate. It's not free for me as a business owner. I got to put an hourly wage guy in one of my vehicles and burn up gas driving across town. He's like, in the moving industry, when we get there, sometimes we'll do a quote and we'll say, hey, it's like 4 grand. The person will be like, what? So they end up, getting 3 or 4 pizza boxes and all their friends to come over and move them. So he's like, they were just kicking my tires. So he's like, "We're gonna use your stuff, 1, to get rid of the tire kickers. 2, if it looks like a good job, they're worth driving out. And 3, if it's a small job, I can just see it, I can quote it, and I can bid it and close it, and I don't even ever have to drive out." And he was so right. And now I've got thousands and thousands of, blue collar businesses using our stuff every day, saving trips in the truck, amongst other things, tons of other stuff.
Yeah.
But, he was
Yeah.
right. Like,
Yeah.
we're blowing up. It's been incredible.
I mean, that's a real annoyance when you go give somebody a bid and it's a free estimate and they're just looking for numbers, and it's hard to do that over the phone, and it's even hard to do that a little bit with pictures. You usually have to see the job to see all of the scenarios that you're going to deal with. And then it's great because they'll get your tips and your bid, and then they'll go take it to the next guy and be like, "Hey, I need you to do this and this and this,"
That's right.
instead because they didn't like your numbers or whatever. Maybe they don't even call you back, and it's really annoying. So, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, LiveSwitch LiveSwitch seems like it's a super useful platform just for that in general.
Oh, yeah, and then you throw the AI that we're doing now. It is
Let's
insane.
we may get into that in a little bit. I did have another question on this real quick though. If you had LiveSwitch, how would it have changed your business when you were running your painting businesses?
Everything. It would've changed everything. So, because I used to get calls like, "Hey, I got a referral." I would've sent the text, looked at the job, and a lot of times, if you've been bidding for, like, more than a year, you can kinda bid things in your sleep, and you're usually not off by much. So, like, just walk around the house, I'll take a look at it, I'll bid it, and I coulda closed a lot of business without driving out, and that would've been awesome. Or callbacks, like, "Hey, your guys busted up my gutters." I'm like, "Hold on, let me check my instant replay." They're like, "No, no, no, no. The only reason you're looking at your gutters now is because your house actually looks good, and you're noticing your gutters are bashed. They've been bashed up before we got on property, look." So, it would save me from, like, I guess I mean, I assumed, like, maybe my guys smashed the ladder against it, or I would have given the customer the benefit of the doubt, because I don't wanna make my customers mad. But now that I've got the instant replay, I'm like, "Oh, heck no. I'm not paying for your bashed up gutters. They're already bashed up." So, it woulda helped me with that. Like, I coulda taken before and afters. I coulda done customer testimonials. I coulda done pre and post walkarounds to show the progress to the customer. Now that we have 5 cameras in our pocket in our phone, it's the most powerful tool in the toolbox.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's the protecting yourself against stuff like that is super important. I mean, even with what we do, taking before and after pictures and having like progress throughout the project to know whether or not we did something exactly like that, like whether concrete splatter on the house was from us or if it was from the stone guys splashing mortar on their own stuff, or or maybe there was some other concrete poured around it, which has happened before, like a retaining wall, and they just splash all over the place, or making sure the sidewalk that got driven over wasn't broken because of us. But it gets blamed on us. It'd get blamed. I mean, it's easy to be like, "Oh, yeah, I mean, that was you guys, come fix it." And if you don't have a proper rebuttal to that, it's really easy to just get, "Well, who done it? Who done it?"
That's right. If you don't have the instant replay, you're out of luck. You know what I mean? And that's huge. But the thing that's really big is being the first person to bid, speed to lead. Like, if you've ever like, "Hey, I'm coming out to do your bid on your concrete," and they're like, "Don't bother, I already found somebody." You lost because of speed. That's it. Like, the best NFL players get paid for their speed, best Olympians. Like, it's the same thing in the trades. Like, the fast or you're left holding the bag. You're not getting
Mhm.
getting the deal, So,
Yeah.
for me, it's like, "Hey," they call me up, I send you a text, "Show me the work." Alright, like, I needed a little we got in our neighborhood, they repaved everything, and it raised up the street, and where I live, we needed a little kinda almost like look at it like a speed bump right before you go into my driveway to divert water to get to the drains, and when they raised up the pavement, it got rid of my speed bump, and all the water started flowing towards my house. So I had to call a concrete company, paving company, and I had the smallest job. Like, it's not a great job. Like, the amount of time that they would have driven out to give me a bid, to, like, show me what it is, they're not making any money, right? So now they can just text me. I show them, they bid it. They're like, "Oh, no problem. We'll fit you in the schedule when we're in the neighborhood." And
Mhm.
then they would have done it. So, it's like those kind of practical things,
Yeah.
especially on the smaller jobs,
Yeah.
where it makes all the difference and it covers your butt, so no one blames you for breaking concrete you didn't break.
Exactly, and it's recorded, right? When you're doing this process too? So when you have
Yes.
the interaction with the customer, the initial interaction, so you can review, what was said and like the details were.
Oh, yeah. Not only can you see what they're seeing, the whole session's recorded. It's tuned up for third-party assistance. There's laser guidance. There's notes you can take, remote photos you can show, share your screen to walk them through the bid. Then you can run the whole thing through AI to make sure you didn't screw things up.
Wow.
I mean, it blows my mind. The other day, my HVAC unit was not working, so my wife called our tech. Tech comes over, and I was like, "Hey, before you go in there, let me send you a text and just walk in there and in 30 seconds act like an ignorant customer and tell me what's wrong." So he walks in and he's got a big southern accent because I'm in the mountains of North Carolina. He's like, "Well, there's water in the water pan. There's condensation on the line. It's dripping right here." 30-second video. We run it through our AI called HVAC diagnosis. The report comes back and it says the most likely cause when your water pan's full, condensation and dripping is that you've got algae in your drain line. So clear out the drain line and it'll drain everything. He goes back in, opens the drain line, algae's flying everywhere, drain clears, and he walks over to me. He's like, "Can I buy stock in your company?" Because it's mind blowing. Like you can literally send a text, Jaden, you could walk around to the work you need done. And after that, run it through an AI that says, "Hey, I need a concrete report. How much are we going to need to get for supplies? How much is this going to cost me? How long is this going to take?" And give me recommendations for how we do the job. Because as a pro, you're telling them, "I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk around this. We're going to pave this. We're going to need this much. It's going to take this much time."
Uh-huh.
AI is like your co-pilot. Just think of it like the Iron Man suit. Like
Yeah.
this is Jarvis, you know, and it will blow your mind. It blows my mind every time I see it every week. I'm like, "This is crazy."
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're just getting warmed up with all the stuff, and you and I have just gotten started talking, and
Yeah.
this stuff is not hard. You don't have to be Tony Stark to use this stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was one of my next questions is to walk me through like a real life example, real world example of how like a specific contractor you know or have seen is using it to save time or win more bids. If you have any other specifics than that, I mean, you pretty much just laid one out for me right there.
Well, go a step further, right? So, customer calls up, want a new driveway, want some repaving done. You send them a text. They walk you through it. As a pro, you're like, "We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do this." Right? Well, then you can run multiple AI reports. AI report number 1, let's say your crew is English as a second language. "Hey, translate this entire thing to Spanish." B, put together a project report for me. C, evaluate me as a salesperson, good, bad, and ugly. You
Pretty
see what I'm
sweet.
saying?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
It no, and this is not like, "Oh, Tomorrowland," like, "Oh, I've gotta, like, go through 8 classes in universities how to use this stuff." No, you don't. AI is here today, and
Hmm.
it is upending all of the blue collar work,
Hmm.
and it's helping you guys. Like, we've got a
Hmm.
thing now where you can have a leave behind as a QR code, put it up on property. Your
Hmm.
customer can go to it, scan it, tell them, "I want a new walkway, pave this to this." It goes up into the cloud. You can run an AI report on it. Give me the details of this project and the price. Your team can call back and like, "Yep, we watched your video. Here's how much it is. When do you want us out there?"
That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. I mean,
it's
yeah, yeah. And you touched on this a little bit because like you say it's not hard to learn, right? But there's a lot of people that don't want to add another, another piece of software. There's a lot of people that don't want to I mean, they don't want to get into it at all because I think it's going to be hard. Like, what's your approach to getting them to buy into it? You know what I mean? Because you're on sales calls with them all the time. Give
uh,
me your lowdown right now
it's
on
like
it.
one of those things when you realize something was built for us by us. You know what I mean? Like because I've had staff, I've been a contractor, my partner has been like this stuff. You don't even need an instruction manual. That's my favorite thing, like, give me a tool, I don't want an instruction manual, I'm not gonna read it anyways,
It's just
then
common sense to just be able to use it.
yeah, like, if you know how to send a text, you can send our stuff. Like, literally, you can learn stuff in 5 minutes or less. So, we're not a CRM. We're not you're not you don't even need our customer success people to help you learn this stuff. Like, if I
Yeah,
gave this to you, Jaden, you'd be a master the next day. You know? And everyone gives us a hard time in the blue collar world about being the knuckle draggers of technology.
yeah.
And I'm like, "No, we're not.
Hmm.
We're not." The problem is that you've got coders who've never been on a job site engineering stuff for my
Yeah.
team. Like, it'd be like asking my team that are on the ladder to
Hmm.
build something for your coders.
Yeah.
You know what engineers do? They over engineer stuff.
All the time,
I'm like,
constantly.
we like tools that I can pull and get the tool started, push a button to get my truck going. One click solutions and the tool does
Yeah.
what I needed it to do. And that's the problem with a bunch of technology. These engineers, man, they over engineer stuff.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But
Yeah.
that's the difference.
Yeah. I mean, it's the worst. It's always been my thing about the technology world versus, the real life application of it. There's a lot of people going to school for things and building things that the people that are actually putting into use what they're putting out there. There's just a lot of struggles, and then they don't go for feedback to the front lines, we'll say.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've sent my coders to on the job site to work a day doing the work. I'm like, "No, no,
Oh, good.
y'all have to, like, go and live the life." And then they
Yeah.
code better, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it might do something for them to work with their hands
Yeah,
in a different way for once, you know?
yeah. I always make fun of them. Like, "You guys all have soft hands. You've never been on
Yeah,
a ladder a
exactly.
whole day." But it changes your perspective
Yeah.
when you're building a tool, right? Like, I'm sure everyone listening, they've thought of, like, tools that they would invent for their
Mhm.
trade, you know?
Yeah.
But I've got the chance now to do that, and it's been a blast.
Yeah. So, I had one curiosity about this. What's the most surprising way you've seen someone use LiveSwitch in the trades that you didn't think of or you didn't realize?
Recruiting. So you
Recruiting.
can have somebody send them a text, tell them, "Why do you want this job?" Give them 3 questions. They answer it. You can run it through AI and have it score the person for your business. Say, "I run a concrete business. Here's the interview. Tell me why I should or shouldn't and rate this person."
Yeah, that's crazy.
But that's just the beginning. I mean, we had
Yeah.
one of our colleagues, like, have one of their parents who was having some medical issues, and I don't recommend the way to use it like this, but we videotaped the person talking. They went to the doctor gave them a diagnosis. We ran a prompt that said, "Diagnosis person." It was spot on.
Really?
Yeah, like, you're in a podcast studio, right? I could send you
Mhm.
a text right now. You could do a 360 view of your studio,
Mhm.
and it would analyze your studio and break you down and tell you what you needed
Yeah.
to do better.
Oh, it would tell me a lot of stuff. I'm basically just in my office, you know? It's one of
Oh, yeah.
those things. Yeah, yeah. It's like it ripped me apart.
Oh, yeah,
There's
but
not
that's the
much here.
thing. AI doesn't have any feelings, which
Yeah,
is
no.
kinda what I like because I
Yeah.
want it to rip my sales team in 2. I want it to
Yeah.
rip the candidate that wants to work at my business in 2.
Mhm.
That's a that is a good thing about AI because when you meet someone, you're like, "Oh, I like them so much. Why do you wanna hire this person?" "Oh, I just like them." That's not a good reason. It's a
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
but not the best. Well, AI can help with a lot of stuff.
Is there any other ways you think you see this changing the way blue collar businesses operate in the coming years? Because recruiting is a huge thing. I imagine there's a lot of room for error in the recruiting side if you don't have proper questions or like you might be selling people short or something. But if you had that figured out, it probably would be great. Are there any other ways that you see it changing?
I mean, how far do you wanna go down the rabbit hole, Jaden?
Give me some things you think that are highly likely within the next 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
It'll be less than this.
Yeah.
So your customer will be able to take a video with nobody on the other line in the line, walk around their property, tell you exactly what they want. It'll go up into the cloud. AI will review everything, put together an entire bid, everything you want. An AI agent will call the person. I'm talking about a robot calling and saying like, "Hey, this is Jaden Robinson's concrete business. I'm an AI agent. We reviewed everything. Here's how much it's going to cost for the job. We can come out in 2 weeks to do it. Would you like us to get that done? And at any time, if you want to talk to a human, let me know." No, a touchless experience. You never even have to go on site. And I already have trade blue collar people that don't drive out anymore, ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you can't. This stuff is here now. The only thing I don't have is the AI agent calling. But that's coming in a couple of years or less.
Mhm.
To
Mhm.
where you have to think like a customer. So Amazon Prime ruined us all.
Yeah.
So when I
Exactly.
want some work done, if I want a new walkway done in my house or my business, Do I really wanna wait around for you to come out on my property and meet you? No.
No,
I already know
probably
I
not.
want the job. I want a one new walkway. How
Yeah.
much is it gonna cost? Are you trustworthy? Will you get the job done? How much is it? I just wanna sign for it. I just wanna hit the add to the cart and buy now. It's not different for home services. Home services will not look the same in 2 years or less, and you can fight it all you want. Say, "Well, by golly, you know, I gotta meet the people and they gotta see me." I'm like,
Mhm.
"They really don't, dude. I hate to tell you that, but that's not what customers care about. We
Yeah.
don't wanna wait for anything anymore. I just
Mhm.
wanna know you can do the job. How much is it, and when can you do it?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You see any so for us and what we do, we deal a lot with general contractors because we do new construction. So we actually don't have the interactions with homeowners and customers for jobs like that and aren't sending out bids that frequently. Do you see any or how much overlap do you see into something like that where someone might not even be going out and sending bids all that often, especially not like looking at a job to, let's say, renovate, doing new construction and dealing primarily with general contractors?
The GC is no different than a customer. A GC is a customer. They write you the checks. Whoever writes the checks is the customer, right? So the GC now can just take their camera on their phone, talk about what's needed based on the blueprint, based on what their client has recommended, and then you can run it through your AI. You can come out. It's no different. It's just no different. You're just doing a new build rather than a rebuild,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So, yeah, it'll just and you're gonna have these tools at your dispense to go and win these jobs, and your GCs will love it because they never have to talk to you. They literally just talk to your AI agents.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
Well,
here right now. This is not like The
yeah.
Matrix, man. This is here right now.
Yeah. Super convenient. Super convenient. And I think people just have a Yeah, people just have a block, I think, in their mind to getting into these using some technology. I think I heard somebody, maybe it was even you, say that we have a tech overwhelm here in the trades.
Yes.
It's just, I think it's just hard. I think there's a lot of really complicated software and it's probably ruined it for easier companies to use.
And that's fine with me. Like, get
Yeah.
them out of here. Like, I don't
Yeah.
want the over-engineered
Exactly.
products, you know? Like,
Exactly.
I want the tools that are right for the job, that get it done, make me money, right? And make my customer, whether it's a GC or a resident or a business owner happy, right? Like, isn't that all we want? So, I mean, there's 18 tools for the same tool.
Hmm.
I don't care what it is. You know, you fill it, name a tool. There's 18 different varieties of it. But I know as builders, we probably want one of the better ones,
Yeah.
right? We probably ask our buddies, like, hey, what tools are you using? Like, what brand? What do you like? Right? So that's the beauty of the trades is
Hmm.
once something's really working, because we're not stupid, we're gonna separate the crap from the stuff that works,
Hmm.
and then we're gonna tell our friends, and then it spreads like wildfire. That's the beauty of blue collar, is because we don't fluff it up.
Yeah.
You know, we just tell each other, "Hey, Jaden, this is what I'm using. Here's what works." And
Hmm.
I've found that to be great, and we've taken over entire industries like that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. It's super cool. I think I want to switch over to kind of a leadership aspect from your personal experience. So you've been in the blue collar industry leading smaller trade crews and then your business and you grew and scaled it and you were running sales teams and stuff and now here where you are, like what's the common thread of leading people effectively across like all these industries?
Yeah. Um, the difference between making owners and employees, right? So, as an example, if I have a place of business and I got trash on the floor, an employee will just walk by it. That's not my job. An owner will walk by, pick the trash up, and throw it away, right? Like, when's the last time you washed a rental car, Jane? You didn't. You never washed a rental car. Why? Because you don't own it. How many times do you wash your truck? I wash my truck all the time. I
Yep,
take
a
care of my
lot.
stuff. I take care of my tools. You know, whether it's my golf clubs or whatever it is, I clean my stuff. So learning how to make owners in my business is huge. I want to change my staff team members' mentality from I get a paycheck to like I'm proud. I'm proud of what I do for the community. I'm proud of what I do for my customers. I'm proud of the work that I do. And so we're always working and learning how to make people employees. That could be through empowerment, teaching, hey, you're in control now, you're in power. Because a lot of times as a business owner, we like to be the big cheese. We want to be the honcho, we want to be the guy. That's not that great. It's good for a startup, but if you want to make money or ever exit your business, you can't be that. So you need to empower your team members, show them what you know, and work on your business rather than in your business. We've all heard that. Work on your business rather than in your business. The only difference is the people that never get to work on their business are prideful
Mhm.
because they got to be the head honcho.
Yeah.
And every business I've been a part of, some of the fastest growing companies in the country, is because I'm willing to give away my power, my my title, my whatever. And
Yeah.
you make more money doing that. Race to the bottom and not to the top. I promise you as a business owner, it'll change your life.
We talk about that a little bit on the podcast. I have got a co-host that we kind of go over some Q&A type stuff, and it seems like that's a question of how to lead and how to be a good foreman and stuff like that comes up, or how to get there. And it's hard, I think, a little bit, because in the blue collar world, you're always like, we have a lot of hustlers, like you said, and people want to just do the best that they can, and they want to strive to do everything that they can and do everything the absolute best they can and be better than the next guy. But then it's really hard to shift that when you get into a position of leadership. Instead of, oh, I need to be the fastest, I need to be the best. It needs to be instead, I need these guys to be the fastest and the best, and I don't care if I am. And that's a really hard transition, especially if you've been grinding and pushing to be the best that you can and learn your trade. And then you get thrown into a position of leadership, and then it's like really hard to relinquish control. So I think that's what happens a lot. I think that's what happens a lot with people that run their own little business. I think that's what happens with a lot of foremans in the trades. Maybe not even so much relinquishing control. They just want to be the best, and it's really hard
Yeah,
to take that step back.
it is. But you got to think about your future self. You got to think about your business. If something happens to you, God forbid, you kick the bucket the next day, get sick, get injured on the job. Like, do you want the whole business to fail? This is called a key man problem. When you're a key man problem, the value of your business is less. The ability for you to take a vacation is you can't, and you can't scale and grow because you've got to be the guy. And until you get over yourself, which usually happens, well, if it doesn't happen, hey, good luck to you. But you start your business off, you wear 18 hats, then you wear 4 hats, then you're even wondering why you're wearing a hat. And then you're like, am I even needed? That's
Hmm.
actually a really good place to be.
Hmm.
But that's for people like read a book called Making Money is Killing Your Business. And it'll teach you how to learn how to work on your business rather than in your business and map all your processes out so you can
Hmm.
make yourself redundant. It doesn't mean you're less than, it actually means you can do more. And it's really counterintuitive.
So is that kind of the first system or process you would tell a small business that wants to grow to dial in, or what would be the most important thing if they're trying
Yeah,
to level up and grow?
document all your process, meaning like when you hire a new person, can they come in and this is what they do? Or do you gotta like sit with them for 5 weeks and oh my goodness, and then hopefully they're good, right? So you document your processes, you pass those off to the people that are closest to it. So go from like handshake to final completion of a job. There's a process to everything you do. Literally, there's a process to everything you do. If you have to do something, the rule of three, if you have to do it, if there's 3 steps and you do it every time, 3 or more times, time to document the process. Then you hand that process to that person who's close to it and say, hey, make this better, make this process better. And when they do that, you've got an end to end process map that you can slot new people into, or if you lose somebody, you haven't lost how you do it. I know for a lot of people that sounds like painful, but now all you have to do, especially even with LiveSwitch, you can go and hold up your video camera and talk through your process and then
Mhm,
have the AI prompt write out my process.
mhm.
You don't have to write things down anymore.
Yeah, well, and then you get the pushback from a lot of people in the trades that they like to write things down still, but, either way, it makes it AI is definitely here making things easier, I think, for people, and utilizing that is almost like hiring another person on your team, I think. If you find trudging through all of the softwares that are out there and you happen to find one that works.
Yeah, I think what I find is that when you get to a certain point in your career and you're pushing back on everything, that's your pride.
Mhm,
It really is. I mean, yes, you've got the experience. You're senior. You're probably the best in your area, but when you start pushing back on things, you've actually lost your will to fight. You lost your will to think like, "Oh, there's a better way to do it." Like things change over time.
well, it's probably easier to just push back instead of changing and adapting.
Yeah, I find that the people that do that, it's actually rooted in fear that they're going to be redundant or not needed anymore, or they're not going to be the top dog. And so I understand that. And look, if you're going to be that way. But you're the person who adopted a smartphone last, right? You're the person that got a Gmail account last. You're the person that, thinks AI is a bunch of magic beans, right? I get it.
Yeah.
Like you've got to, that's you. That's a you problem, and you actually are going to suffer the consequences of that. And
Mhm.
when you're like, "What happened to all our jobs? Why don't we use DVD players anymore? Where'd Blockbuster go?"
Yeah.
They were saying the same thing when
Yeah.
Netflix rolled around,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah, they laughed in their faces. So,
Yeah, Blockbuster could have been Netflix,
yeah.
but no, they got it all right because we all wanna drive on a Friday night and look at a bunch of VHS tapes to bring home to our family. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, get with it. And that's what's happening with AI. You're gonna have
Mhm.
your Blockbusters and you're gonna have your Netflix. Are you a Blockbuster person? A Blockbuster person says, uh, you push against it. You're a Blockbuster person. That's okay. It's all right. But when you start losing a bunch of jobs and you can't figure out why, but the problem is those folks, those Blockbuster people, they're really good at the work they do. And
Mhm.
that's what breaks my heart is that they actually lay the best concrete in the state. And they're kinda just done learning the new things.
Yeah, well, I mean, what good does it do laying the best concrete if you want to grow, but you can't because you don't let yourself move out of the way for that to happen? You know what I mean? I think we have a issue with people projecting what they think you should do onto your business because there are a lot of owner operators that probably don't care, don't want to scale, and they just want to they want to show up, they love the trade, and maybe they just want to do it and they want to make money. I think it's where you get the guys that want to grow and scale but then they don't want to get out of their own way and they're kind of like stuck in between them. Like they do a really good job but then they don't want to do what's necessary to let their team grow and take their place essentially.
You're right.
So I have another question on this. What is what is one big mistake you see service businesses make when it comes to sales and customer communication? Maybe that we haven't gone over yet because really ties into your guys' software. So what's one big mistake you see?
Um, I think, now that you can it's old school methodology, right? Believing you need to drive out to every job. You don't need to do that anymore. Not using AI tools to evaluate your salespeople. There's tools out there now that says, "Hey, tell my salespeople what they're doing well at, what they're not doing well at, and where they can improve and coach them." Right? With not having a sales manager around, a lot of us are small companies. We can't afford to have a sales manager, a salesperson, head foreman. Like we can't afford all the positions. So AI can help you do that. I think a lot of things that are challenging these days is learning how to implement AI in a practical and tactical way, right? In a way that makes sense. It all sounds like a lot of AI for all of us sounds like magic beans. And I was like,
Hmm.
hey, I want to make AI for the rest of us. So what I challenge people to do is like when I got new tools on the job site, when we got new paint sprayers, we played with them until we learned it.
Hmm.
AI is the same way. Go and Go to ChatGPT, go to Gemini, go to Grok. I don't care what you go to. Play with it.
Mhm.
Play with it. Like, have fun. Break the dang thing. But then eventually you're gonna find where you can put it into different parts of your process and how you do things, and once you start doing that, you'll never look back. It's like,
Mm.
"What did I do without a smartphone? Well, I
Yeah.
went to a payphone?" You know, like, "What?" So, a lot of it is start with playing with it, so you get over your fear of a new technology, and then you start implementing it into your business, and it changes everything from your sales
Mhm.
team, implementation, customer follow-up, automation, all these things, and you make more money.
Yeah. So if someone like clicks the link in these show notes and stuff and they go sign up that I'll include down there. If they go sign up and they start with LiveSwitch, what's like one first big win that they should look for after they start using it? One big benefit to their business or one win that they should like strive for and look for.
Yeah, look at your gas bill. Look at your gas bill, right? So, look at your win rate. I have owners that are like, "James, we went from doing virtual estimates whenever we had to now doing on-site visits to whenever we have to." You'll be shocked. And so, saving that gas bill, but more importantly, giving your customer a better customer experience, giving your general contractor a better general contractor experience. These guys, when they have new builds, don't they wanna work with the most convenient guy that does the best work? Do they really wanna have to follow up with you, like, deal with you? They're gonna go replace you. And when a
Hmm.
GC, because a GC has the money, and when you got the money, you got the power.
Hmm.
So, I think when you come and you start using this, watch your gas tank. I want you to think about me when you're filling up your truck. That's what I want you to think about me, because I can erase so many wasted trips in your truck.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that I would see that as a major benefit to anybody who wants to start using these softwares. So I had kind of a final follow question, but I mean, you kind of alluded to this. What's next for LiveSwitch? I mean, other than AI voice, I mean, what are you working on? Where you see it going? You got to have more goals.
Oh, yeah, AI agents. Okay, what are AI agents? So AI agents are like, think of tasks, right? So you do a call, and you want that call, you want the audio from that call to be action items, and you want that action items to be put into a work order, and then you want that work order to put in a checklist, and the checklist, there's transactions that happen all along the way, and these little AI agents can automatically do that and just trigger. They know your process to the point where we were talking about earlier, where a AI agent can call your customer, and hey, I want it to sound like a Southern man from Mississippi. It's crazy, and it sounds great, and it will save you time. I mean, I'm sure you love making calls right when somebody calls, because 'cause I'll go on stages and I'll cold call businesses on stage, and I'll hold up the microphone. Like, "What is it like to do business with your company?" I get to the voicemail a lot. I get people who pick up the phone that don't know what they're talking about a lot.
Yeah.
So, I think for us, it's automating things. These AI agents are gonna be huge. Eventually, you'll see with all these wearables, like you've seen with Meta, they've got these
Yep.
glasses now. Imagine you're doing your work and you've got streaming
Well,
camera.
have you got
Look,
yours on right
I'm
now?
I do not.
Eh?
I do not.
I
But
was about to say it
imagine that
didn't
I'm
look like
running
it.
that video through, looking at code, showing my team. Well, there's so much more exciting things down the line for us as blue collar business workers, and
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. There's nothing better than a high tech redneck is what I call myself, right? So,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I actually use Ray-Ban Metas at work. I take videos for content for our concrete company, post videos and stuff
Well,
on there, and
imagine
I've
you're with your Ray-Ban Metas, and now we're running it through code, and it's
yeah.
telling you like, "Hey, Jaden, like, we've gotta do X, Y, or Z."
Yeah. No, exactly. That's super cool. That's super cool. I mean, there's the technology's coming and it's here. It's coming and it's here because it's
Well, it's
like
here.
it's really cool things that people are dreaming up are on the way and didn't even think were possible or not even that far away either.
No,
So
it's here today, and I'd love for anyone if they wanna see it. Seeing is believing, and, once you see it, I mean, it's here now. It's not like,
yeah,
"Oh, it'll be here in 2 years." No, we have it right now, and
yeah.
people are already using it, and it might be your competitors.
What keeps you going every day? What gets you up out of bed to keep doing this and selling this software to people?
Yeah, so my current title, and I hate titles. I'd rather just call me a custodian, but my current title is President of Entrepreneurs. I love business owners. I used to be one. I really care about my business owners, my small business run America. You know what I mean? So they're putting food on the table every day. They're taking care of other their team members. And so for me, if I can help you run your business where you're making more money, not just your top line revenue. Everyone loves to talk about growth. I want to talk about your bottom line. Let me be your bottom line guy, where you can save a bunch of extra money and then take your team out for a Christmas celebration or give the guy a bonus that you've been meaning to do or give a guy a raise that you've been wanting to keep. To me, that's what keeps me going because that's where I came from. And I just want to help where I came from. And I feel like that's my responsibility to do that and to help us blue collar guys demystify all that AI nonsense that's out there.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, this has been an awesome talk. I mean, I know you're out there doing a lot of podcasts right now. I could tell you're real excited about all of this stuff, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I hope people that if they've found something interesting from our talk about this software, that they'll go give it a try because I know a lot of people have a really big mind block towards trying out
Yeah.
software for their business. So,
And I'll tell people right now, Jaden's not paid to do any of this. I came on here to help get your wheels spinning. So what I'd ask you to do more than anything else, whether reach out to me, do whatever, here's what I want you to do. Jaden isn't making millions of dollars running this podcast. Are you, Jaden? Probably
yeah,
not. He's doing this because he loves his industry. He's doing it for his people, where he came from. And don't be a dead end. Be a relay race person. Like, I want you to take this show, not the one we're on right now, any show from Jaden, and I want you to share it with a colleague, share it on your social. Don't just be a person that comes and consumes all this content that Jaden's working his backside off to build. Like, share it with somebody else. When you hear the like, subscribe, smash the thing,
yeah,
like, that's all cool. But Jaden is like a salt of the earth, blue collar guy trying to help. Just share his stuff, please. Like, even before you reach out to me, do that first.
yeah. And after you promote my show real quick, where do they go to find you as well?
2 spots. Go to my website, liveswitch.com, liveswitch.com. If you wanna talk to me, just say, "I wanna talk to James." Or go to LinkedIn, all right? James Hatfield, Hatfald, like the Hatfields and McCoys, liveswitch.com. Reach out to me, and I'll reach out. I will reply to you directly. Anyone who says, "Hey, I listen to you and Jaden," you're gonna get me. I'm not gonna pawn you off to anybody else, and we'll talk. And don't believe me? Just try it.
Awesome. Awesome, James. I really appreciate you coming on, and this is a great conversation.